Hello friends, welcome to the world of science fiction and forgotten words, Alien Universe. Don't forget to like, subscribe and never miss a new stories and movies from this channel. Thank you.
The children did not scream. They did not cry. They did not even look afraid. That was the first thing Commander Elias noticed, and it chilled him more than the alarms echoing through the steel corridor. Red lights flashed above their heads. The warning siren had been screaming for 5 full minutes. Something captured from beyond Earth. And yet, the only 2 people walking calmly through that nightmare were his daughters. "Stop right there," a soldier shouted, but the girls did not. "Stop." Elias felt his heart pounding in his chest as he rushed after them. He had ordered the lockdown himself. Unofficially, creatures pulled from crashed ships, beings that could bend metal, beings that could survive without air, things that did not blink. The girls walked past the first cell. Inside, a 4-armed creature slammed against the transparent barrier, its skin glowing blue like fire underwater. It let out a sound that shook the glass. The younger one did not even look at it. They passed the second cell. A tall, shadow-like being stood motionless in the center of the room, its body thin as smoke. When the girls stepped near, it slowly turned its head toward them. The older one simply whispered, "Not this one." Elias felt something cold slide down his spine. How did they know? Yet the girls walked as if they were choosing toys in a store. Cell after cell. A beast covered in bone-like armor. A creature with too many eyes, each blinking at a different time. Not this one. No. Too loud. Their voices were calm. Certain. Elias finally caught up and grabbed his daughters gently by the shoulders. They both turned and looked at him. And that was when he froze. Their eyes were not afraid. They were focused. "Daddy," the younger one said softly, "you have the wrong ones." The corridor went silent. Even the distant screams from the creatures seemed to fade. "What do you mean?" Elias asked, his voice barely steady. "The dangerous one isn't in a locked cell," the older girl said. One of the guards laughed nervously. "Sir, this is not funny. We've secured every specimen." But the older daughter shook her head. "No," she said, "you didn't." At the far end of the corridor stood a final chamber. Unlike the others, it was wrapped in heavy chains. Metal seals covered the door. Warning signs layered over warning signs. No transparent window. No visible creature inside. The chained cell. Elias had ordered that one sealed permanently. The being inside had been recovered from Deep Space 3. Months ago. It had not moved since arrival. No heartbeat. No breathing. No response. Declared dormant. Maybe dead. "Stay away from that one," Elias said quickly, but the girls slipped from his grip and walked forward. The soldiers raised their weapons. "Sir, should we restrain them?" Someone asked. Elias could not answer. The girls stopped directly in front of the chained chamber. The red emergency lights flickered across their faces. Dust floated in the air. The chains creaked slightly, though no one was touching them. The younger daughter lifted her small hand and pointed. "That one," she said. The older one nodded slowly. "Yes, that's the one that shouldn't be here." Elias felt his throat tighten. "That creature hasn't moved since we found it," he whispered. "It's inactive." Both girls turned to look at him. And at the exact same time, they asked one question. "Are you sure?" The chains on the door suddenly gave a small, metallic snap. No one had touched them. The alarms began screaming again, louder than before. And deep inside the sealed chamber, something exhaled. The sound of that breath did not echo loudly. It was soft, slow. But every person in that corridor heard it. The chains on the chamber door tightened, then loosened slightly, as if something inside had shifted its weight. "Everyone, step back." Elias shouted. Guards moved quickly, forming. A wall between the children and the sealed cell. Weapons locked into position. Safety switches clicked off. The red lights above continued flashing, painting the steel walls in warning, but the girls did not move. They kept staring at the door. "Daddy," the younger one whispered. "It's awake because we're here." Elias swallowed hard. "That's impossible." He turned to the lead scientist. "Status." The scientist's hands shook as he checked the monitor tablet. "Energy readings are rising, sir." "That's not possible. We've had 0 biological activity from that chamber for 92 days. Another metallic crack echoed from the door. One of the upper chains snapped and fell to the floor with a loud clang. Every guard flinched. "Open fire if it breaches," someone yelled. "No." Elias barked immediately. "No one fires unless I say so." He did not know why he said that. Maybe because of his daughters standing so close. Maybe because something in his gut told him bullets would not matter. The older girl stepped forward again. "It doesn't want to hurt anyone?" Soldier snapped. "How would you know that?" She did not answer him. She just kept looking at the door. The metal surface began to vibrate. Small pieces of dust fell from the ceiling. A deep hum filled the corridor. Not loud, but steady. Like the sound of a massive engine starting somewhere far below Dot, inside the other cells. The captured creatures began reacting. The four-armed blue creature slammed itself against its barrier in panic. The floating orb dimmed its light. The shadow being shrank into the corner of its containment room. They were not excited. They were afraid. Elias noticed it. They're reacting to it. He muttered. The scientist nodded quickly. "Sir?" "There." Heart rates are spiking. All of them. It's like they recognize something. Another chain snapped. Then another. The sealed door bent inward slightly, as if something inside had placed a hand against it. The younger daughter took a small step. "Closer. Sweetheart, stop." Elias reached for her again, but she slipped away gently, never taking her eyes off the chamber. "Daddy," she said softly, "it's not trapped. It's hiding." "Hiding from what?" Elias asked. She looked at him. "From you." The words hit him harder than any alarm. Before he could respond, the final chain broke. The door did not explode outward. It did not shatter. It slowly opened. The corridor went completely silent. No one fired. No one breathed. Inside the chamber, there was no giant monster. No sharp claws. No glowing eyes. There was a figure. Tall. Thin. Almost human in shape. Its skin was pale gray, smooth like stone. No visible mouth. No nose. Only 2 deep, dark eyes that seemed endless. Like looking into space itself. It stepped forward calmly. The guards aimed their weapons directly at its head. "Do not move." A soldier shouted. The being stopped. It turned its head slowly and looked directly at the 2 girls. At the soldiers. Not at Elias. The children. The hum in the air grew stronger. Lights flickered. Several monitors along the wall exploded in sparks. The older girl stepped in front of her sister. "It's okay," she said gently. Elias felt his legs weaken. "How do you know that?" The being raised one long hand. Every guard tensed, but it did not attack. It pointed. Not at the soldiers. Not at the exit. It pointed at Elias. The corridor felt colder suddenly. "What does it want?" One guard whispered. The younger girl answered without hesitation. "It wants him to remember." Elias felt something strange happen inside his mind. A pressure. A faint ringing in his ears. Images flickered at the edge of his vision. Stars. Darkness. A ship drifting silently in space. He staggered slightly. "Sir?" The scientist asked. The alien took another slow step forward. No aggression. No fear. Just focus. The other captured creatures began screaming now, hitting their containment walls as if trying to escape, not from the alien, from something else. The being's dark eyes locked onto Elias again, and inside his head, he heard a voice, not loud, not angry, just one sentence. "You brought me back." Elias gasped. "I don't even know what you are," he whispered. The voice answered again, this time clearer. "You do." The girls did not look surprised. They looked relieved, and that terrified him more than anything. Elias felt his knees weaken, but he forced himself to stay standing. The corridor felt smaller now, like the walls were slowly closing in. The alien did not move again. Inside his head, "I've never seen you before," Elias said out loud, though he was no longer sure who he was speaking to. The guards thought he was losing control. The scientists exchanged worried looks. His daughters just watched him quietly. The pressure inside his mind grew stronger, and the images became clearer. A deep space recovery mission. A broken ship drifting. Near Saturn's outer rings. A black surface, smooth like glass, reflecting the stars. He remembered the order. Bring it back. That had been his voice. The alien took another step closer. The guards reacted instantly. "Sir, we need authorization to fire." Elias raised his hand slowly. "Stand down." "Sir, with respect, stand down," he shouted. The alien stopped again. Its dark eyes never blinked. The older daughter spoke softly. "You found it alone." Elias turned to her sharply. "How do you know that?" "You felt sorry for it," she continued. "That's why you brought it home." Home. That word hit him hard. The memory broke open fully now. The recovery team had found the alien floating in space. No ship debris. No signs of battle. Just it, suspended in silence. When they scanned it, the readings were strange. Not fully biological. He had said back then, "It's just there." So he gave the order to transport it to Earth. To study it. To contain it. To chain it. The alien tilted its head slightly. Inside Elias's mind, the voice spoke again. "You were different. Double quotes different. Elias felt guilt rise inside him. "We secured you because we didn't understand you. You were afraid," the voice answered calmly. Behind them, the other creatures were still reacting violently. One of the containment barriers cracked under pressure. Sparks flew from the ceiling. Emergency systems flickered on and off. The scientist shouted, "Sir, energy levels are increasing across the entire wing. It's affecting everything." The alien slowly turned its head toward the other cells. And for the first time, its posture changed. Not anger, but awareness. The younger daughter stepped closer to it. Elias felt his heart nearly stop. "Stay back," he yelled, but the alien gently lowered its hand toward the child. Time seemed to slow. Instead of harming her, it placed its long fingers lightly against her forehead. The guards nearly fired. Elias froze. The younger girl closed her eyes. A soft wave of energy passed through the corridor. The lights stabilized for a moment. The screaming from the other cells lowered into quiet whimpers. Then the alien removed its hand. The girl opened her eyes. Again. "He's not the danger," she said calmly. Every adult in that hallway stared at her. "Then what is?" Elias asked. The older daughter turned slowly and looked down the corridor, not at the cells, not at the alien. At the ceiling. "The signal," she said. The scientist blinked. "What signal?" Suddenly, every screen in the facility turned on. At once, static filled the monitors. A deep pulse echoed through the walls. The alien stiffened. For the first time, Elias saw something like fear in its eyes. "What's happening?" A guard shouted. The older daughter whispered, "They found him." The entire prison facility shook violently. Dust rained from the ceiling. Somewhere above them, heavy metal doors slammed shut automatically. External detection systems just activated, the scientist yelled. Something just entered orbit. Orbit? Elias looked at the alien again. You weren't hiding from us. He realized slowly. A voice inside his head responded quietly. No, you were hiding from them. The alien's eyes shifted upward, as if it could see through layers of concrete and rock into the sky beyond Dot. The facility trembled again, harder this time. Emergency sirens switched to a new tone. Not containment. Impact warning. The younger daughter grabbed Elias's hand tightly. They're coming. Lights flickered violently, and pieces of the ceiling crashed onto the steel floor. Somewhere above them, something massive moved through the sky. Orbital defense just went offline. The scientist screamed. Sir, whatever entered orbit disabled our satellites in seconds. Elias felt cold fear crawl through his chest. He looked at the alien standing in front of him. Its posture had changed completely. Its shoulders were tense. Its eyes were focused upward, beyond the concrete, beyond the sky. They're here for you, Elias said. The voice inside his mind answered, no. Emergency doors slammed, shut throughout the base. Red lights turned white. Then dark blue. Impact protocol. They're not here for me, the alien continued inside his head. They are here for what is inside you. Elias felt confused. Inside me? That makes no sense. The older daughter turned slowly toward him. It does, she said. The guards were shouting over each other now. Communication lines were breaking. Surface Command was not responding. Every external camera feed showed only static. Then the ceiling above the far end of the corridor exploded inward. Not from a missile. Not from debris, from something cutting. Through it, a beam of pure white light sliced down like a blade, melting steel as if it were paper. The air filled with heat and smoke. Soldiers raised their weapons again. From the opening above, something descended. It was larger than the chain, alien, taller, armored. Its body was covered in shifting metallic plates. Its face was sharp, angular, almost mechanical. Behind it, 3 more shapes hovered in the torn opening. These were not prisoners. These were hunters. The creatures inside the containment cells began screaming wildly now, slamming against their barriers in terror. The armored being landed heavily on the floor. It did not look at the guards. It did not look at the children. It looked directly at Elias. A deep, mechanical voice echoed through the corridor. Host identified. The words vibrated in everyone's bones. Elias stepped back. Host? The alien beside him suddenly moved faster than anyone expected. It stepped between Elias and the armored being, raising its hand. The armored hunter tilted its head slightly. Defector located. It said coldly. Defector. The word hung in the air like poison. Elias turned slowly toward the alien he had captured months ago. Defector? He whispered. The alien did not deny it. Inside his mind, the voice spoke again. I left them. The truth hit him all at once. You're not a prisoner, Elias breathed. No. You're running. Yes. The older daughter stepped closer. To her father. He didn't come to invade. The younger one finished the sentence. He came to protect. The armored hunter raised its weapon arm. Energy began building at its core. The air around it distorted from the heat. Transfer the core, the hunter demanded. Elias felt dizzy. What core? All 4 hunters shifted their focus to him. At the same time, the alien's voice entered his mind with urgency for the first time. When we found each other in space, you touched me. Elias had removed his glove briefly to check for surface temperature. The alien said. The younger daughter looked up at him, her eyes wide but steady. That's why we could hear him. Elias staggered backward. You mean Yes, the alien confirmed. You carry the energy core they seek. The words were not dramatic, they were factual. Elias felt his chest burning slightly now, as if something inside him was waking up. You hid it in me? He asked the alien. I protected it, the alien corrected. The facility shook again. Above them, something massive entered the atmosphere. The ground vibrated with distant impacts. The hunters were not bluffing. Elias looked at his daughters. You knew? The older one nodded slowly. We've heard him since the day you came home. Like an animal. You used me, he said. No, the alien replied gently. I trusted you. The armored hunter raised its weapon fully now. Final warning. Energy surged in Elias's chest, brighter this time. Pain shot through him, but it was not deadly. It was awakening. The alien stepped closer to him. If they take the core, they will not just destroy me, it said. They will awaken something far worse. The hunters took one synchronized step forward, and Elias finally understood. The most dangerous creature in the prison. A cell, it had been standing in the hallway the entire time. Him. The armored hunter's weapon glowed brighter. The air around Elias shimmered like heat rising from fire. His chest burned, but not with pain anymore. It felt like something opening. You are unstable, the hunter declared. Release the core. Elias looked at his daughters. They were not crying. They were not afraid. They were waiting. The alien stood beside him, not in front of him anymore. Not protecting him, standing with him. You have a choice now, the alien said inside. His mind. I cannot force it. Choice? Elias asked. If you give them the core, they will leave. Your world survives for now. And if I don't? The alien's voice softened. You become what I was meant to be. The hunters raised their weapons together. The corridor trembled as something massive roared in the sky above. Outside, cities were likely watching strange lights moving across the clouds. Humanity had no idea how close it was to extinction. The younger daughter stepped forward and placed her small hand over her father's chest. Daddy, she whispered, it doesn't feel angry. Elias felt the energy responding to her touch. Warmer, brighter. The older daughter spoke clearly, her voice steady. It feels scared. The hunters fired. A beam of white energy shot toward Elias, but it never reached him. A wave of light exploded. Outward from his body, not violent, not chaotic, but controlled. The beam shattered against it like glass. Against stone. The hunters froze. The alien looked at Elias with something that almost looked like pride. You see now, it said. Elias felt different, stronger, not physically, deeper than that. He could sense the hunters' thoughts, their cold logic, their mission. They were not evil. They were programmed that they feared the core because it could create life, independent life, free life. Their empire survived by control. The core represented choice. Armored leader stepped forward again. Host has synchronized. Eliminate. The other three hunters aimed at him at once. Elias closed his eyes for 1 second. He thought about Earth. About oceans. About sunlight. About his daughters laughing in the backyard. He opened his eyes, and he made his choice. The light inside him expanded, but it did not destroy. It reached outward like a pulse through water. It moved past the hunters, past the walls, past the ground above. Up into the sky. The massive ship hovering in orbit. Flickered. Systems failed. Weapons powered down. The hunters in the corridor began to shake violently, their armor cracking under. The same energy. This world is not yours, Elias said calmly. His voice carried more than sound now. You do not get to decide who lives in fear. The hunters tried to advance, but their bodies were no longer responding. The core's energy rewrote their systems, not to kill them, but to free them. One by one, their weapons fell to the floor. The armored leader looked at Elias one last time. And, for the first time, its voice was not mechanical. It sounded uncertain, autonomy, detected. Then their bodies collapsed, not destroyed, but deactivated. Above Earth, the giant ship powered down completely and drifted harmlessly into silent orbit. The facility stopped shaking. The alarms faded. The corridor grew quiet. Elias dropped to one knee, breathing heavily. The bright light around him softened, then slowly settled deep inside his chest again. The alien stepped closer. "You did not give them the core," it said. Elias looked up at it. It was never theirs. The alien nodded once. And now? Elias looked at his daughters. They ran into his arms without hesitation. Now they were crying. Now they were shaking. But they were safe. He held them tightly. The alien stood quietly for a moment, then looked upward. "They will not return," it said. "You changed the signal. They fear what you have become." "And what am I?" Silence filled the broken corridor. The other captured creatures inside their cells had stopped screaming. They were calm now, watching. Not afraid. Elias slowly stood up. "What happens to you?" he asked the alien. "I no longer need to hide," it answered. For the first time since it had stepped out of the change chamber, the alien smiled, not with a mouth, but with its eyes. Its body began to glow faintly, the same soft light that had surrounded Elias. Slowly, it lifted from the floor. Weightless. The younger daughter waved gently. "Goodbye," she whispered. The alien looked at Elias one last time. "You were different," it said again. Then it rose upward through the damaged ceiling, disappearing into the bright sky above. Elias stood in the ruined corridor, holding his daughters close. The most dangerous creature in the prison had never been the one in chains. It had never been the hunters. It had never even been the alien defector. It had been fear. And for the first time, fear had lost. Far above Earth, a silent ship drifted powerless among the stars. And inside one human heart, a small, steady light continued to glow.